Hi, this is 365801 and this is week 6 of my reading wrap-up for 2022, but it is also my Manga Madness Readathon round 11 wrap-up too. So the very first video that I ever uploaded onto my YouTube channel back in 2019 was a Manga Madness Readathon wrap-up. I think it was round 8, so it's now round 11, so it's been quite a while, and so I'm filming this in a slightly different way to my normal filming, but I thought I would just do it on homage to that video, which is a little bit embarrassing, but I kind of still like the video, so I'm kind of happy with how it is. Anyway, this is everything that I read in physical for the 6th week, which is obviously it kind of was the same length of the Manga Madness Readathon. Volume 5, What Did You Eat Yesterday by Fumiyoshi Naga. Technically, I had in my previous wrap-up. I'll put a link to that. I'll also put a link to my very first video, so you can have a wee look at that as well if you want. So yeah, let's just go through what I read. As I mentioned, What Did You Eat Yesterday Volume 5 is technically part of the Manga Madness Readathon, but it was in my wrap-up last week for week 5. So the one that I read this week is week 6, and so is volume 6, because every week I'm reading a new volume. This one was a little bit frustrating because as much as I enjoy a lot of the recipes, I found that if it's a recipe I'm interested in, I'm like, yeah, tell me more. What's the seasonings? How long do I saute that for? But if it's not a recipe I'm really that interested in, or think that I'm going to be able to replicate myself, I'm kind of like, yeah, hurry up, just get back to the, you know, slice of life drama that's happening, which is not very much. So each of the different stories, there's not a lot happening, and the recipes do take precedence. So it kind of was a little bit frustrating in volume 6 because I wanted more of the drama, I wanted more of their interactions with other people and the stories and their lives. And it's really quite interesting that there was the mother of a child in, I think it was like volume 1 or volume 2. So it was like, wow, this has actually been going on for quite a long time, and time has passed and they are still together. So there's been a lot of relationship development with these two, which I really like seeing, in the fact that I'm reading them one a week. It means that time has passed quite quickly. But if you were actually reading this as it was coming out, it would probably be about the same time period. So I am enjoying this, I'm going to continue to enjoy this, and next week will be volume 7. The next thing that I read was Our Dining Table. This is a 7 Seas title. This is by Mita Ori, and it is super cute and also involves food, so I thought that was quite appropriate. I just continued with the food theme. I have read this before, but it's been a couple of years. I only read it once, right after I got it. It was a gift, I think it was a Christmas present, and I really enjoyed it, and it's just been sitting in my drawer, and I've always thought I should probably give it a reread, so it was definitely on my list of read this. This also, along with What Did You Eat Yesterday, and a lot of the titles that I've chosen this week cover my Buzzword Readathon as well. So it's Manga Madness Readathon and Buzzword Readathon too, because of the hour in Our Dining Table. This is a pronoun or possessive pronouns. That's what the theme is for February, so that's what I've been reading already, and I continued with it this week as well. So this one is a super cute story about someone who has gone through emotional trauma and dealing with family pain and reconciling themselves to that through food and through the interactions with another family who have also gone through emotional pain and trauma. So it's lovely, it's super cute, it's so sweet, and it's just a warm hug of a manga. Anything that involves children, generally, I am a sucker for, which I just continued with this week too. Now this next thing I read was Mamahara Ellie's Baseball Heaven. So I guess I should have put this down as actually covering a name in the title, because it is Ellie Mamahara and then Baseball Heaven, so I really should put this down for that as well. Anyway, this is one of the titles that I read for the very first Manga Madness readathon video. I will put a link in the corner so you can go check out what I said then, because I don't really want to see what I said then, but basically this is great. I love this. It's Mama Hareli. She's brilliant, and it's a baseball manga, so fantastic too. It's one of the ones that I really do enjoy. I love all of her work, and I do wish more of it was available in English, but what she has got published I do enjoy. Her art style is very distinctive, and her characters do have kind of same face syndrome, like a lot of mangaka really, but I do enjoy this one because of the sports element, but also because there was a character who was out, kind of out, not 100%, but he's out to his teammates. Like, they all know that he's gay, and back in 2004 I don't think that was kind of a thing, because this was originally written in 2004. I think it was published in 2010 by Blue, but that's kind of a rarity for manga to just be like, yeah, I'm 100% gay. That's it, and in a sports manga too. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I love it because it is Mama Hareli, and it made me feel nostalgic for Manga Madness readathon the very first time. So this is one that I really enjoyed reading. Super fast, super cute, and fun as well. It's this kind of silly manga, but not overly silly, just enough of all of the little elements to make this a good read. Now I kind of went from something that's like all the super cute sweet stuff, all the lovely feels, all the really nice tender moments of all of these lovely manga, and then I wrote to Cast Heaven Volume 3. This is by Chisei Ogawa and by Sublime. This is the continuation. I think they were up to like 7 volumes or something. I only have up to Volume 3. I read Volume 1 and 2 last Christmas, and then I got only Volume 3 last year, so I hadn't actually taken the plastic off and read it. It's something that you do need to gird your loins with, and I girded my loins with such lovely sweetness and light that I feel like I could handle it, and then maybe put it to the side and be like, woof, I need something sweet again, because that's what happened. This is the continuing story of the absolutely horrendous cast game that they have in this terrible school and the characters all in it. It's disturbing, and it's difficult to read, and it's not one that everyone's gonna love or even like, and yet I can't fault it. I really do like it. I like the fact that it's a psychological game, that all of these characters are trying to, I don't know, one-up themselves and each other, and I just think it would be the most awful place to be, but I'm fine with my popcorn at the side going, tell me more. So yeah, it follows the brother and his, I guess, like the mental health that he has. It is not good. So, but it is hot and it is sexy and it is interesting, and you can't fault it for that. So, Cast Heaven, I will need to try and see if I can pick up the rest of the volumes if they're available, because I do want to read the rest of it, and I do want to collect the whole series anyway. So this was a good excuse for getting this one read. Now after Cast Heaven, I obviously needed something sweet and cute and lovely, and I was also doing a buddy read with Katie, hello Katie, of Only Serious About You. This is a 2-volume series by Aso Kai. Aso Kai is just gorgeous, lovely, just does the most wonderful, sweet little human dramas. They're just so small and perfectly formed, and this series is perfectly formed. It's just the right amount of everything, and also of course it includes a lovely little child as well, so family dynamics, all the feels. Once again, kind of like foodie as well in a sense. So there was definite theme to a lot of the more light-hearted manga that I read this week, and this one definitely followed it. I can't believe Katie hadn't read the whole thing, but then she didn't have the whole thing to read. So I'm really glad that she was able to, because it's one that so many people absolutely adore and love. I wish that we had more Asokai in print. It's one of those things that I just think some of the good work wasn't always picked up, and we got lots of, you know, the wheat from the chaff. We didn't always get the wheat, we sometimes got a lot of chaff, especially from this publisher, June Manga. Flooded the market with chaff, and every once in a while we'd get a little wheat. And this is like the proper good manga, good BL. It's great for representation, it's great for bisexual awakening, it's great, it's sweet, it's like everything that is light and fluffy, but also smexy. I mean, and just that little bit of spice that makes you go, But because you've had to work for it, it's all the sweeter. The moment when they are actually, you know, very accepting of each other and in a physical sense, and you're just like, we worked to get here. We worked to get here, and it was worth it. So yeah, this is definitely in like my top 10 of all time, just because it means a lot to me, and it's just so sweet and lovely. So yeah, I'm really glad I got to do this buddy read. And it's so much better than Love Stage last month. So we'll see how we do next month with the next month's buddy read. I'm not going to say what it is yet though. This is the second to last physical title that I read. That is Utahime, the Songstress by Aki, and this is by DMP. And I was so happy to be able to get this last year. I got it for quite a good price. It is going for quite a lot, so I think I got it for like £10, something like that, which is, you know, obviously more than I want to spend, but still very good price for what it's going for. It's an Aki one, so I obviously want it. I got this along with Olympus at the same time, but this one is a sort of medieval land setting, so it does kind of sit with her, the Angel of Elhamburg, and also Arosumente, and that's what I really liked about this one. I mean, it's a beautiful story, it's sad, and it's, you know, it's thought-provoking, and it's lovely, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of, it just breaks your heart in a way, because of how in some respects everyone has to end up doing things that hurts them emotionally, but also there's a positivity at the end as well. There's like a light at the end of the tunnel, but then people have had to be, I guess, heartbroken along the way to achieve it. So yeah, Utahime is beautiful. It's about songstresses and their need to be kept in towers across the land, and their forced captivity. And I don't want to go into it too much because it's kind of an interesting story that's like, you wonder how it even came about. I'm kind of rambling, but it's great. What I really liked about it is the fact that so many of these characters, then I can see them as being the prototypes for her next work, or the work that she tried to start the next time. Aki has the worst reputation for starting things and for them going on hiatus, and not necessarily because they're not popular, because Aki is popular. Her work is very much respected, but she has been working on, she did like Angel's Doubt, and that's on hiatus, and then she was doing Arosumente, and we got like 6 volumes, and then that's now on hiatus, and I am absolutely raging because I so desperately need to, because she has this way of weaving in kind of mysteries or things that make you question things about the characters, and you want to know, and then you never get to know. It drives me nuts. But she is doing at the moment the White Cat's Revenge, and I would like to pick that up as well because her artwork is lovely. Even if the story might not be to my taste. It might be. It's not a BL. And in a sense, Utahime is also not a BL, but she does address this. It's kind of interesting. She says that she wanted the two characters, the brother and sister, and that she said at the end that she had wished she'd made them both brothers, and in the end she hadn't, to make it less BL. And she said, I learned a lesson that I should just be more true to my own desires. Which is true, it's true. Because her BL, like none of her work is actually BL, but 100% is BL. Like I can only see it as being BL. So the White Cat's Revenge is probably the only one that I'm like, it's not BL at all. Whereas Utahime, it's because she's such a Fujo, her work is steeped in her Fujo-ness. And so I can't read anything other than the male songstress and the village chief as having some sort of emotional connection, even though the village chief was supposed to be in love with the sister. Yeah. Anyway, Utahime. I'm so glad that I've read this now. I have the copy, I've read it. The next one I will read for Aki will be Olympus, and that will be equally depressing. I think I might do a Greek mythology type reading, maybe a little vlog, mini vlog, and have the Song of Achilles and read Olympus around the same time. So something like that might be quite a fun little reading vlog to do. Now this is the final physical title that I read for Manga Madness Readathon, and it is Sakura Teach Me Tutor. This is a June manga title. Does anyone else see her name and think of Shakira? I mean, I can see it, it's Sakura, but every time I see it I just think Shakira, and then start singing Shakira songs in my head. Anyway, Teach Me Tutor, like a lot of Sakura works, is porn without plot. And that's about all I can say. If you were like being generous, you might say that this is a, you know, ironic commentary on the tutor-student dynamic within BL titles. I'm not gonna be that generous. It's just porn without plot, really. I mean, that's kind of what it is. That's what a lot of her work is. It's chunky men though. It's like beefy, muscly men. So if you're into that, then that's great. And I like her artwork. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing. So I do enjoy that aspect of it. But in terms of her actual storytelling, it's not for me. I do have all of her works that's available, and I do have, I think, the one Sublime title that they have. But I don't have, no I do, I think I have everything. The box set as well, I do. I just haven't actually read it because it's in my other collection. So yeah, Sakura is not really one of my favourites, and this certainly wasn't. And also June manga, they chose to use the word kohai in one of the panels, and I'm like, you could have just said teammate or underclassman, and then they have the little asterisk next to it so that on the side panel they can say kohai and then what kohai means in English, and they put upperclassman. I was like, that I do not think that word means what you think it means. So just like a basic error like that, it's a bit of a shame. Overall it was okay, it was a fast read, but not really my cup of tea overall. Now this first title, the digital title that I read this week, This Wonderful Season With You, also has a U in the title. This is by Atsuko Yuzen. This was also a 12 and 12 recommendation. I'm trying to think who it was. Was it Dylan from Dynamic Dylan? So it was a recommendation, and it had you in the title. It was one that I was going to read last December because it had the word season in as well, so it was on my to read list, and I had the digital copy because I got it when they were having a sale on Kindle, so I don't have the physical title yet. This was a cute, sweet little story about two people kind of finding out more about themselves and about each other, and reconciling things about themselves that they weren't maybe 100% happy with. So personal growth as well. It is very cute, it is very sweet, it's really fast, but it has a little gentle way about it. There's an element of baseball as well, so I read it with Mamahara Ellie's Baseball Heaven, thinking it will be quite similar, and it wasn't, but it kind of had some of the same elements of personal growth and maybe bisexual awakening as well. So I really enjoyed it. It was really sweet, it was lovely. I would like to get the physical version of it, even if it is by Tokyopop, unfortunately. Now, the first audiobook that I read this week, even though I said I was only going to read manga, I did not. I had an audiobook need. I was busy doing stuff, so I thought I'd give it a go and read something that I've already read before, because I know it's only a few hours, and I read this through Audible. I have it on Audible. This is available through Kindle Unlimited, so I have read it through Kindle Unlimited and I got a special deal with it. It's part of the Forbidden Desire series, and this is the very first spin-off, and it's about the daddy. And yeah, it's not my favourite, and I have actually only read this once, well now twice, because all of the other books in the series, you can see Clutch, Bond, Mate, Swallow, Magpie, Finch and Peregrine. I've read more than once, but Swallow I had only read once. So I wanted to read it again because it's such a short one, and I was busy doing some things, so I thought I'd put it on. It's still not my favourite, it's still my least favourite. I don't particularly like Grimbold as a character. Wally is cute and sweet enough, and he goes through a lot of trauma and development, and it's nice and cute. But it's definitely not my favourite, and I'm still waiting for Raven. I don't know when it's gonna come. I'm really sad. But yeah, it was good that I got this as a second read, but it unfortunately opened the floodgates for more audiobooks. Now, because I was doing some audiobook rereads and I didn't want to have to think about what I was listening to and follow a plot, I needed it to be one I could follow already, but it's still too distracting, so I've decided I can't do that to myself. I need to actually just focus on what I'm doing and listen to music or something rather than an audiobook. It's too stimulating in that respect. And Rulebreaker was. This is Lily Morton's book one of the Mixed Messages series. It's one that I really cried at the first time I read it, and it's one that everyone kind of puts out as a really good book, and I did enjoy it. And it's got argument between the two main characters that are just so realistic that it hurts. It hurts a lot, and it hurt again, and I enjoyed it. It is one that I will review a bit more when I do a big reading everything that Lily Morton has written video, which I do still plan to do at some point in time during 2022. I plan to have finished reading everything that she has written. Rulebreaker is a good one if you're looking to get into her work. I think it's one that you might want to start with. Gabe and Dylan are a cute couple, and Gabe needs to go through a lot of personal growth. Dylan not so much. He's pretty much perfectly formed as he is. Gabe though really needs to do a lot of emotional growth, and there are moments in the book that you're just like, oh no, 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 don't do it, and you know that someone is self-sabotaging and trying to hurt themselves, and it's not nice to read or listen to, and I really enjoyed it. And I shouldn't have, but it did open the floodgates even further. So I kind of skipped over book 2. That's Asa and Jude's story. I liked it, but I don't think I necessarily wanted to read it again. But this one I did, and that's Risk Taker. This is the story of Evo and Henry, and it's a bit kind of a cuter, sweeter one, although it does have PTSD as one of the issues. Henry's just like a fun guy. Evo's just, you know, a bit damaged, and the two of them just love each other and have always loved each other, and it's like, duh. So they are like childhood friends to lovers, and I do like childhood friends to lovers as a trope in general. The previous one, Rulebreaker, is like an office romance one, which I enjoy as well. I enjoy that one too. But Risk Taker I really do like, mainly because Joe Leslie does the French accent for Evo, and I could just listen to him do accents all day. It's great. I do love a good accent, and so when he's speaking as Evo, it's a really fun French accent, and something about the French accent just does something to me. So yeah, Henry, very cute, sweet. They have to go through their own issues as well. A lot of issues with some of these characters, but this one never really hit me in the I'm gonna cry my eyes out feels too much, but it did make me feel a little bit sad this time, the second time reading it. So yeah, Risk Taker, it's good again. Lily Morton, she's good. So from one Lily to another, this is Lily Mayne, not Lily Morton, but Lily Mayne. And this is Mortal Skin, and this is Folk Book 1. And oh dear. This is basically gay cottagecore in a book. It follows the story of Ash, a human who is kidnapped from his home, a cottage, and taken to the Unseelie lands by the Fae, the fairy folk, and he is kept hostage, captive in a cottage where he's guarded and overseen by the emo assassin prince, the fourth son of the queen of the Unseelie court. And that's basically the premise of the story. Ash and Lonan, the two of them have to kind of put up with each other in a sense. And it's very cottagecore with a hint of goblin core, witch core added in for good measure, which I am totally here for. Now the reason I read this is because the premise sounds great to me. That sounds great to me. Like a human being captive, held captive by the fairy folk and having to deal with brooding dark assassin. And yeah, I was here for it, except for the fact that I watched Caitlin from Catman Books. She did a reading vlog, and in it she did give away a few things. Like, she was doing a spoiler-free review, but me being me, I'm like, so I picked up on everything. So when reading this, I definitely could tell where it was going. I think you kind of meant to, but there's also hints and clues along the way. The only thing I will say about this is, one, if you want, go and watch Caitlin's vlog, but also maybe wait. She was very clear. She said wait until the second, if not the second and third book in the series is out before you read this one, because it ends in a cliffhanger and it will give you a book hangover. And so I watched that video and then I messaged her and said, thanks for letting me know that. I will not read this book until the second one is out. And what did I do? I couldn't help myself. I had to read it. And I loved it. It was great. It was exactly what she said it was going to be. There was a book hangover. I have been thinking about it a lot. I'm like, oh, damn it. And I really did like the characters. Ash is great. It's definitely that fish out of water. You're getting to know, a new world through the eyes of someone who is new to it as well. You definitely pick up on some flags and things that Lily Mayne has put down. She's like, the author's going, yeah, I'm just leaving a flag here for you. You're like, yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Don't worry about it. So when it came to the big reveal at the end, because there is the big cliffhanger and there's a lot of just lovely, sweet cottagecoreness, which could be a little bit repetitive and a little bit boring. But because I knew that something was coming, I stuck with it. I think she might lose some people if their intrigue and curiosity doesn't keep them going as far into the book, because it literally all happens in the last few chapters, all the action. And you can kind of see what's happening and you can kind of tell what's going to happen, or at least you think you do, and then you're like, uh-huh. But even then, there's a couple of things that happen, you're just like, oh, did not see that coming. Oh no. there was definitely a couple of moments when I was like, oh dear, oh no. And yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I hated it. I loved it. It's like not a 5-star because I do think the writing itself is very, very good, very competent, but could possibly be elevated slightly. And also because it does have pacing issues, because it does have a lot of build up to a lot of action right at the end. The reason I think it's got that is due to the fact that this is a 3-volume story. The second book though, we won't have to wait too long for. Late spring, early summer, I think she said the second book in the series will come out. And she does have another series, it's the Monster series, that she is continuing to release books in, but this one will come out, and I think there's only 3. So hopefully I can read the Monsters one as well. Once again, I'm planning a kind of like mini vlog, and I'll probably read the Monsters one along with like Monster and the Beast. And I think it would be quite fun to pair manga and prose together in a little reading vlog. Things that go together. So yeah, I 100% got a book hangover with Mortal Skin. Oh dear. I love it. I love it. I will have to reread parts of it before the next book comes out. But the next book comes out, I'm reading it straight away. It's going to be on my to-read list at the very top. Now the other book that I'm reading, this one is through Audible. It's available if you've got an Audible subscription for just nothing because it's part of their Plus catalogue. So I will probably have to pick up the second book, The Trailer Park Trickster. I'm only halfway through it though. I've only kind of started it. It's something else that I was like, oh, I'll just put this on and try and work, and I'm not working. So I have to like maybe ration my time and do like increments of 20 minutes of work and 10 minutes of listening and 20 minutes of work, and see if I can get more work done that way. Because as much as I have seen this and thought, oh, it looked like a fun title, White Trash Warlock, part of me was like, I'm not sure if I want to. It's urban fantasy, and oh my god, I'm loving it. I hate that I'm loving this so much, but I am enjoying it a lot, and it's very, very interesting and fun. And I think there's going to be a third book in the series as well. So yeah, I think this is one I'm now continuing, another series I'm continuing as well. This is by David R. Slayton. I will look forward to reading book 2, depending on how book 1 finishes. But yeah, so far I'm about halfway through, and this will probably be my first finished read next week. So that is everything that I read in the 6th week of 2022. So it was actually quite a good mix of manga and prose. Unfortunately, even though I had planned to only read manga, this still ended up being a mix of prose and manga week, as well as my only webcomic, which was the next episode of Pian Pian. Oh, so good. I don't know if we're going to get any more of them. I know that the creator's on hiatus or like a health break for a bit, so hopefully we'll get more of the side story, their side characters and their story. I really need to see Gohan get dicked down, because he is such an awful character and he needs it. He needs to feel that. He needs to submit. I need to see him submit. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. Anyway, I did enjoy a lot of my reads this week. I read far too much again and didn't get as much work done as I was supposed to. So boo. But also great reads. I really enjoyed the buddy read with Katie, Only Serious About You. I like how I've added a few more titles onto my buzzword readathon for the month of February. I feel like I can relax about that now, and the fact that a lot of them actually cover some other months as well, which is quite nice. And I of course really enjoyed the Manga Madness readathon and trying to get as many of the squares ticked as possible for the bingo board. It's been a while since I actually took part in a proper readathon, and so it kind of felt nice to have that. So yeah, I think if I get more work done, I can enjoy these readathons a little bit more rather than feeling guilty about reading. So anyway, a lot read this week. Quite a good week for reading. If you've made it to the end of this video, thanks very much. Consider giving it a a like or subscribe. I'm 365801 and I make videos about BL, manga, yaoi, male romance and all that good stuff. Take care everyone, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!